When I was in high school, I had a friend who was not the smartest. I remember telling him if I didn't want to get a woman pregnant, then she should be on top so the sperm can't flow up. He became a father his sophomore year. Sperm can't flow up. Sperm can't flow up. Life advice. This is something that, when used well, can be incredibly powerful. The secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. This is an example of life advice which we won't be looking at in this video, but rather this is what we will be looking at. How to maintain your personal space on a subway. Let's get into it. Just open another credit card. It's free money. Coming from a friend who is in thousands of dollars worth of debt and has no idea she will eventually have to pay that off. Also, another gem this same girl thought. She would get a marketing job right out of college that would pay her $70K a year, and she wouldn't take anything less because she would be selling herself short. Don't quit your job at Walmart! You've been here for 3 years! Just 7 more and you'll be fully vested in the company. And then this guy goes on to talk about how one of his managers had a psychogenic voice disorder from the stress of the job. But yeah, no, I'd definitely still want to work at Walmart. It's worth it, for sure. You know, son, there really is no such thing as cheating if you aren't married. The Bible doesn't recognize any relationship that isn't bound in the covenant of the Lord. So until you are married, relationships don't really exist. Thanks, Dad. You just indirectly explained why you're on your 3rd marriage. When my marriage was on the rocks, my dad said, "Son, go out and find yourself an older woman that just wants to fuck and keep your marriage. She, the wife, doesn't have to know you'll be getting laid, and the older woman will be happy without a commitment." Thankfully, I didn't go that route, and my marriage is repaired and stronger than ever today. But the old lady who just wants to fuck is still lonely. Stop being so selfish. When my daughter was an infant, my wife couldn't breastfeed and my daughter couldn't digest formula very well, so I had to buy a special pre-digested formula for like $25 a can. I was at the cashier paying for the formula. The guy in front of me was gathering his things. He said to me, he says, "When my kids were babies, I wish I knew what I knew now." I was like, "What's that? What do you know?" He says, "Babies don't need formula. All they need is sugar water. All the rest is a scam." I was like, I'm so glad you didn't know that back then.
Give me sugar. And water.
I mentioned in passing that my boyfriend suffered from a terrible Charlie horse in the middle of the night. My bizarre space cadet of a coworker heard this and immediately interjected, frantically explaining that I needed to get him to a hospital because this was a surefire symptom of pregnancy. She also recommended that I call the news because my boyfriend is, well, a man. I guess she thought history was about to go down. Spoiler alert, he wasn't pregnant.
It looks like you're using an ad blocker. Please turn it off to continue viewing this page.
Guy at my work once told me that as long as you don't physically block the exit, it wasn't considered rape. I had just asked how to deal with my girlfriend who wasn't upfront about her interests. What the fuck? My high school guidance counselor said that I wasn't college material, and I took her advice and started the process of joining the Marines with my friends, who were also told this. My chemistry teacher at the time scheduled a substitute, personally drove me to a nearby college and sat there with me while I spoke with admissions. Fast forward a few years. After receiving a chemistry and chemical engineering dual degree and then going on to get a PhD in chemical engineering, I'd say that guidance counselor knew jack shit. Now, all I got out of this one, to be honest, was that chemistry teacher sounds like a legend. I have eczema and was told just not to itch, says some dude with eczema. When I was little, I told my mom I was sad because some kids were bullying me. She said I should tell them that when they bullied me, it hurt inside and they would stop. I did what she said. This was bad advice. They did not stop. Stop bullying me. It hurts me inside.
Oh, alright, sorry man. Sorry about that, I didn't realize.
Buy a house in 2006. It'll be the best decision you ever make.
That was the worst decision I've ever made.
When I found out I was pregnant with my youngest son, my mom and her boyfriend told me to abort. Not because I couldn't afford the baby, or that there was something wrong with him, but because my mom was going through menopause and didn't want to be reminded that she couldn't have any more kids. Yeah, no, okay, yeah, I'll just get an abortion because you can't have any more kids, Mom, so why should I? My careers advisor in high school. When I said, I think I want to do something with computers, she said, have you heard of Microsoft? Then she wrote Microsoft on a piece of paper and slid it across the table, and that was my careers interview over. As this guy says here, you can apply it to pretty much any kind of weird specific stuff, and it's pretty funny, to be honest. I think I want to do something with cars. Have you ever heard of Toyota? And then she wrote Toyota on a piece of paper and slid it across the table, and that was my career interview over. Stop reading. You read too much. You're going to hurt your eyes. Go watch TV for a while. My grandma, every time she visited, while grabbing the books from my hands, it was like something off The Simpsons. Matilda? Is that you? Take a piece of sandpaper and rough your nipples up before the baby comes. How was the coworker to pregnant me about breastfeeding? Stop thinking about depression. There are more people who have greater problems than yours. All I really have to say in response to this one is pretty much what Barack Yo Mama says right here, which is, it's like saying don't eat food when you're hungry because someone somewhere is starving. When I was about 5 to 6 years old, I was given a Superman cape for my birthday. I was told that it could make me fly. After a few days of not being able to fly, I began asking people how to make it work. They advised that I need to find somewhere high up to jump off of. So I started jumping off fences, trees, and then I was told I needed to jump something taller. Several people advised a 6-year-old kid to jump off high places to fly? Who the fuck do you live around? A crack house? This was Glastonbury Festival. My mother was a stallholder there, so me and my sister generally went off to do our own thing. People are dicks. Thankfully there wasn't very many places a 6-year-old could climb there. Some guy told me to kill myself on the internet once. When I was a teenager and had acne, none of the over-the-counter acne medication was working. My mom brought me to a dermatologist, and the medicine they prescribed was very expensive. So before buying it, my mom searched for any home remedies online. The home remedy she found was to use urine. The way to apply it was worse. My mom went to the store to buy supplies, and for over a month, I would pee into a diaper and place it on my face for 15 minutes as part of my morning routine. Worst advice I've ever taken. Okay, so this little segment here is less bad life advice and more just kind of terrible life tips. Remember this one I showed you earlier about keeping a personal space in Subway? Yeah, well, it's basically just a whole lot of them. Let's go. Pro tip. Keep cake moist by eating it all in one sitting. Life pro tip. Use your seatbelt as a bottle opener whilst driving. Honestly, this one is bad on so many levels. If your headphones ever become tangled again, just spray them with Johnson's No More Tangles. And take a selfie through a toilet roll holder to make it look like you're the moon. Look at me, big full moon. Use a toilet seat as a plate holder whilst eating your dinner. No need to buy new socks, just buy a permanent marker instead. Yay. Cutting all of the tennis balls in half allows you to fit 2 more balls in one package, saving space. Brilliant. When chucking out boxes for expensive items, put them on your neighbor's drive so they get robbed instead. Also, you can get bashed by your neighbors. Huh? What? No, I didn't say that. Warm your snacks up at the desk using your laptop charger. Don't want to iron anymore? Eliminate creases in clothing by getting fatter. How to impress your guests and reduce clutter at the same time? Turn all those extra plastic bottle caps you have laying around into fancy orange holders. If you see someone crying, ask if it's because of their haircut. What to do if you fancy a snack but you're running late for work? Well, avoid wasting time brushing your teeth by simply adding toothpaste to your food instead. Cooking pasta in no time by simply adding water. Seriously though guys, do not try this one at home. If you can't find a bookmark, just use ketchup instead. If you need a spoon and there isn't any, then just use a fork and some tape. That's enough. Alright guys, that finishes this video up. I'd just like to thank everyone for all the support they've shown on the recent videos. Also, as I've said in the past, I've just started up a new Twitter recently, so it'd be really appreciated if you could go follow me on that. Otherwise, if you don't want to do that, if that's just too much hassle just to go and follow me on Twitter, just liking this video would be really, really great. Only if you liked it, of course. Also, if you have any ideas on how I can improve these videos, or ideas for any new videos, if you could just let me know in the comments, that would be fantastic. But anyway, I'm talking too much. That wraps this video up. I'll see you bitch boys in the next one. Bye.